So, when you're searching for a new car online or maybe booking a vacation? Well, there's this whole industry kind of in the shadows that knows all about that. They're called data brokers. But what happens when the people who know literally everything about us get hacked? Today, we're going to dig into a data breach that pulls back the curtain on the fragile trust we put in these hidden giants. And this quote, it's not just some nice sounding words, right? It gets right to the heart of what we're talking about. When a company has the keys to millions of people's lives, responsibility isn't just a good idea, it's everything. It's the entire foundation. And we're about to see exactly what happens when that foundation starts to crack. And here's the real kicker in this whole story. The breach? It wasn't some direct head-on attack. Nope. It happened because a partner messed up. This is the story of the LexisNexis data breach. And believe me, it's a huge reminder that in this super connected world we live in, one broken promise from a partner, and suddenly we're all exposed. Okay, so this incident, it wasn't just another headline you scroll past. It was really a symptom of a much, much bigger problem, a deep flaw in the way our data gets passed around and handled. All right, so what actually happened? Let's break it down, because the details here, they're really what make this whole thing so significant. Okay, just look at this timeline for a second. The breach kicks off on Christmas Day. I mean, talk about timing, right? Security teams are probably at home with their families. But the real shocker here is the 90-plus days of complete silence that came next. For 3 whole months, the attackers had the run of the place. In cybersecurity, that's not just a delay, that's an absolute catastrophe. And this is the human cost. Over 364,000 people. I mean, just let that number sink in. That's like the entire population of a decent-sized city, all of them having their most sensitive info. We're talking social security numbers, driver's licenses, suddenly in the hands of criminals. This isn't just about data points on a spreadsheet. These are the keys to people's lives.
Now, this slide is absolutely crucial to understanding what happened. LexisNexis's own systems, their main fortress, they were secure. But here's the thing, the attackers didn't have to storm the castle walls. They just found a back door that was left wide open, and that back door was a third-party vendor. See, these external partners, sometimes they have weaker security because, they're not seen as the main event. Well, in this case, that was a fatal mistake.
But let's be real. For the people who are actually affected by this, all that technical talk means nothing. It doesn't matter one bit which server their data was sitting on. Their lives were still turned upside down. The damage was done, plain and simple. So this one breach, it really opens the door to a much bigger conversation, one that affects pretty much every company you deal with. It's all about finding that weakest link in the chain. And that weakest link has a name. It's called vendor risk. Think about it like this. Say you're building a super secure house. You've got the strongest walls, the best locks, the whole 9 yards. But then you hire a contractor who just leaves the back door unlocked when they leave? Well, your house isn't so secure anymore, is it? That is exactly what happened here. Your security is only as strong as your least secure partner. Okay, so now let's zoom out a bit. Because when you take this idea of vendor risk and you apply it to the entire data broker industry, you don't just see one crack in the foundation. You see a whole spider web of them. This is what's known as the surveillance supply chain. It's this huge, tangled web of companies all buying, packaging, and selling our data to each other. The scary part? Each company inherits the security risks from all the others. And, as we just saw with LexisNexis, one little break in that chain and the whole thing can come tumbling down. And if you're thinking, okay, but this was just a one-time thing, think again. Not even close. This is a pattern. I mean, look at this list. People Data Labs, Equifax. The names are different, but the story is terrifyingly similar. And what's the common thread? A really shocking lack of accountability for the insane amounts of data these companies are hoarding. And here's the part that just gets me. The company whose entire business model is built on selling transparency about other people completely refused to be transparent about its own screw-up. To this day, LexisNexis has never publicly said which third-party vendor was responsible. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. The irony is just staggering. So the big question is, how do we fix this mess? And it's not as easy as just, buying some new security software. This is going to require a total shift in how we approach data privacy. All right, here's a potential game plan. Step 1, companies have got to start vetting their partners like their entire business depends on it, because, frankly, it does. Step 2, we need regulations with actual teeth, laws that can truly hold these companies accountable. And finally, step 3, and this is a big one, we need a cultural change. Privacy needs to be built in from the start, not just something they think about after a disaster happens. And that really brings us to the ultimate lesson from this whole LexisNexis mess. It's simple, really. You can outsource your code, you can outsource the work, but you can never, ever outsource the responsibility. So the real question for all of us is, are we ready to start demanding that level of accountability from the companies that hold our entire digital lives in their hands?